The 2020 Major League Baseball season was an unprecedented one. The schedule was shortened by nearly 100 games, with those games being played in front of only cardboard cutouts and simulated crowd noise. A universal DH was introduced for the first time, and when extra innings rolled around, a runner began on second base. An expanded playoff bracket saw 16 teams make October, which made the postseason a lot more exciting for a lot more fan bases. We also saw a lot of players take that leap from average to superstar. Fernando Tatis Jr. proved that he's the real deal and the possible face of Major League Baseball moving forward. Trevor Bauer established himself as the Cy Young favorite and one of the best arms in the league, while Randy Arozarena introduced himself to the world with one of the best postseason performances of all time. The MVP races in each league look to be decided before the winners are officially announced, and for the first time in a long time, Mike Trout's not the favorite. Freddie Freeman looks to have it locked up in the National League, while Jose Abreu looks to take home the hardware on the American League side. Both of these first basemen have been in the spotlight for quite some time, but Freeman is more of a household name. He's been the leader of the Atlanta Braves for over a decade and has received a lot more love and coverage from the media, while Jose Abreu, on the other hand, seems like more of a Cinderella story. Abreu had a career season that led the once dismal White Sox team to a playoff berth and possibly turned the franchise around in a single season. The gritty veteran is the leader amongst the young, talented group of superstars on the south side of Chicago who have a bright future ahead of him. But Jose Abreu doesn't get as much love. He spent more than half his life playing professional baseball and has dominated all along the way. He rewrote the Cuban National Series record books during his time there, and then came over to America and has been one of the best hitters in the game for the past 7 years. Jose Abreu didn't break out this season. This is just the first time you're noticing him. Before we can talk about Abreu's Major League Baseball career, we have to talk about how he got to the United States and the events that led up to it. We need to examine the risks he took and the danger he encountered that led him to become likely the MVP of the American League in 2020. His story starts in his native Cuba, where from a young age he was a baseball prodigy. Abreu was born and raised in the neighborhood of Cruces, which is in the province of Cienfuegos. Cienfuegos is located on the southern side of Cuba, about 150 miles southeast of its capital of Havana. From a young age, Abreu demonstrated that he was a baseball prodigy, and he was competing on the national level as early as 7 years old. In Cuba, players compete for their province in which they live in and hope to compete for their provinces in the Cuban National Series, the highest professional league in Cuba. By the time Abreu was 16, he was wearing the jersey of Cienfuegos in the National Series. Abreu struggled during his first few years in the Cuban National Series, but quickly began to improve with age. His first 5 years were good, but Abreu's next 5 years in the Cuban National Series would be arguably the most dominant 5-year stretch in the league's history. From the 2008-2009 season through the 2012-2013 season, Abreu put up an insane 384, 522, 769 slash line with a 1291 OPS. He belted 136 homers and drove in 397 runs over the course of 400 games during those seasons. For some context, the Cuban National Series regular season normally consists of about 90 games. I want to point out that insane 2010-2011 season for a second. You want to talk about domination? That's a 1583 OPS. Just for some context, the MLB single-season record of OPS was a staggering 1422 by Barry Bonds in 2004, which is widely regarded as the greatest regular season in MLB history. And Abreu topped that by over 160 points. For those saying that's a small sample size, the highest OPS during the 2020 shortened season was Juan Soto at 1185, and the all-time OPS during a 60-game stretch was Babe Ruth, who put up a 1598 OPS in early 1920. So essentially, Jose Abreu was putting up Babe Ruth-type numbers. Abreu set the Cuban National Series single-season home run record with 33 that year, and came just 6 RBIs short of winning the Triple Crown en route to claiming the Most Valuable Player award. In doing so, he became only the second player from Cienfuegos to win the award. Oh, and he did all that damage in just 66 games, missing 24 due to a shoulder injury. It's regarded as one of the best single seasons in the history of the Cuban National Series. After the 2012-2013 series, Abreu was selected to play on the Cuban national team for the World Baseball Classic and used this opportunity to make his presence known globally. He'd played for the Cuban national teams in the international circuit before, but this was just another chance to put his game on full display, and he didn't disappoint. He put up an 1145 OPS while blasting a tournament-leading 3 homers and driving in 9 runs in just 6 World Baseball Classic games. While Abreu put his skills against the best in the world, all signs had indicated that he would return to Cuba for his 11th season in the CNS. But Abreu's next move would shock the baseball world, including those closest to him. In August of 2013, just 6 months after his performance in the World Baseball Classic, Abreu defected from Cuba to the Dominican Republic. For those unfamiliar with the process, Cuba doesn't allow players to just get up and leave the country to pursue playing baseball in other countries, and in order to do so, they have to defect. Normally, players who choose to defect have to board a small boat in the middle of the night with whatever they can carry and either go straight to the United States or to the neighboring islands whose laws are a little less strict. Defecting from Cuba isn't something that's like advertised in the papers. The process is illegal, and you have to know the right people in order for them to smuggle you to another country. Any Cuban who's played in the MLB has gone through this process, and most aren't successful on their first attempt. Rough waves make the process challenging on their small boats, while military boats and helicopters patrol the waters looking to catch anyone trying to escape. If a player successfully makes it to the United States, they're allowed to stay in the country. If they're captured out at sea, then they're returned to Cuba with harsh punishments. Abreu miraculously made it to the Dominican Republic on his first try, leaving his entire family, including a newborn son, behind. 3 months later, he was officially a Major League Baseball free agent and signed the largest contract ever given to a Cuban baseball player, a 6-year, $68 million deal with the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox were looking for a dynamic player and found that in Abreu. He was a proven hitter in Cuba, but just how would he fare in the major leagues against the best baseball talent in the world? The transition was seamless for Abreu, and he made an impact immediately. During his rookie season, he led the entire major leagues in slugging percentage and OPS+, and unanimously ran away with the American League Rookie of the Year award. He was named to the All-Star team and finished 4th in the MVP voting, and joined Frank Thomas as the only other White Sox first baseman to win the Silver Slugger award. After his rookie year, Abreu was all the hype and deemed as baseball's next great power hitter, which he was. He set his bar and expectations very high, and after his performance dipped slightly during his sophomore year, people began to write him off. Because he didn't play for a championship contending team, his consistent play and fantastic performance went largely unnoticed. Since making his debut in 2014, Abreu has been one of the most dominant hitters in the league, ranking amongst the tops of every major statistical category. He's hit at least 30 home runs and driven in at least 100 or more runs in 4 of those first 6 seasons, with his 7th season, 2020, only being 60 games. From a WAR perspective, Abreu's 23.7 WAR is the 29th highest in baseball since 2014 and 5th amongst first basemen. Only Paul Goldschmidt, Anthony Rizzo, Freddie Freeman, and Joey Votto have a higher WAR while playing first base since Abreu's debut season. In 2019, he drove in an American League leading and career-high 123 runs. Coming off that 2019 season, the White Sox had a lot of hype around them for reasons other than Abreu. He had become so reliable and dependable to the organization that he was overlooked for some of his teammates. Tim Anderson is an emerging superstar. Yasmani Grandal solidified the catching position. Yohan Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, and Luis Robert are the young nucleus of the team. Lucas Giolito and Dallas Keuchel were a top-tier rotational punch, with Edwin Encarnacion providing the power. With all of those names, Jose seemed to be overlooked, and I think that's how he liked it. Abreu came out of the gate firing in 2020 and quickly proved that not only the White Sox were legit, but that Abreu himself was the centerpiece. Without the big man holding them together, the White Sox wouldn't endure success. Abreu would play in all 60 games in 2020, leading the American League in hits and slugging percentage while leading Major League Baseball in RBIs and OPS+. He was also 2nd in the majors in home runs, 9th in OPS, scored the 10th most runs, and finished with the 11th highest batting average to lead the White Sox to a wild card berth. He carried his great regular season into the 2020 postseason, putting up an .857 OPS and hitting his first career postseason home run in the White Sox wild card series loss to the A's. Despite coming up short in 2020, the White Sox have a lot of hope and potential moving forward. The team's young core seems to be Major League ready and can be a nightmare for American League pitching. At the center of all this success is the White Sox veteran superstar Jose Abreu. Abreu is finally receiving the recognition he has earned and deserved throughout the course of his Major League career, and respect is finally being put to his name. He looks to join Zolio Rosales and Jose Canseco as the only Cuban-born players to win an MVP award in the Major Leagues. If he does, he'll also become the first player ever to be the most valuable player in both the Cuban National Series and Major League Baseball. Jose Abreu is not only one of the greatest hitters in the Major Leagues right now, but also one of the greatest Cuban-born players of all time. He's been an inspiration for millions in his native country, as well as a hero for his fans here in Chicago and across the globe. I'm glad that Abreu is finally getting the recognition that he deserves from the writers and from the media, and hope that players like Abreu will continue to impact the game in a positive light.